Good evening, folks. Welcome to our 2025 off-season primer for the Buffalo Sabres. I'm your host, Fred, and joining me tonight are my twin brother, James, and our good friend, Mike. Welcome tonight to this episode.
Welcome back. I mean, first of all, welcome back to Touchdown Buffalo. I mean, been over a year. Been way too long for us.
Yeah, welcome back. Can't wait to take some shots tonight.
I think we're going to be playing shots after.
Right, Jim. We always take shots, but we're always right.
Yeah, you're right about that here. By the way, pardon me with the new tablet I got here. So I not with a regular laptop. I got my iPad here. So
I was trying to zoom it out so both of you can see.
Well, you're making this difficult. We can't see both of you.
Hey.
Uh-oh.
We need a producer.
Producer.
I'm not in charge of. Wait a minute, no, I am.
Yeah, you are in charge.
This is funny. So.
Well, hold on here. I fixed this. Fred, why don't you talk while Fred, why don't you just talk here for a moment here and try to help me fix this? Because right now I don't see the.
I may just not even bother trying to use the.
We are. Fred, can you give me a little hand here?
What?
Apologize.
I'm gonna put it on the logo tonight, Jimbo, since we don't need to see faces other than mine.
Yeah. Well, thank God for that here. For you fix
Fix what?
My tablet here.
I can't fix nothing. What's the issue?
No, it's the screen on mine.
Meaning what? Brightness?
No. The back part. I'm talking about.
I don't think I can prop it up anymore. All right, yeah. Unless here's what we're gonna do.
Oh, see, magic of. Now we won't even see our faces there.
No, we don't need to. We're just going to talk.
Oh, yeah, that actually works between. Do I go this way with?
Yeah, you're good.
All right, beauty.
Okay, that works.
So you won't see our faces tonight. Sorry about that.
You can see it.
You can sort of see it.
The
You might have to get in closer a little bit between you two.
There we go.
Oh, and
There goes the phone drop.
This is what's going. See, this it's going off to a roaring stir here.
We got us.
Okay.
All right, there we go. Now we're.
If technical streams don't have any issues around here, we are not professional.
That's how it goes here on the show here.
All right.
Yeah, we're gonna talk like this.
This is
All
going.
right, so what are we leading off on?
Oh my lord. Yes, we are. We are debuting on Rumble, so thank you, Rumble. We are changing up a bit. So tonight we are going to break down all of the things leading up to Friday night's first round concerning the Sabres, of course. Donley jersey on. We're going to touch on the Sabres front office additions, butchering as always. We're going to talk about the trade rumors surrounding Bowen Byron, JJ Peterka, the ninth first round overall pick.
The Sabres goaltending situation.
Yeah, we're going to cover it all.
We might add in our first round pick, and then I'm going to actually start off tonight with reflecting on the this past season a little bit.
Yeah.
Because we are going to talk about last year's episode a little bit.
I just want to say that I was at when they had that 15 or 16 game losing streak.
13.
I was at the very first game they lost on that streak.
Oh my God! It was a game after San Jose, because they won 3-2 in San Jose.
And actually, they didn't
I saw the I saw the Zamboni. You see the new Zamboni that because I was at the game against Ottawa for I work. Like that Zamboni with I've never seen they're always trying to find new ways to entertain fans without the nice product. Like it's the strangest thing I ever seen with fans on it. I mean that's the craziest thing what I remember most about the season. I'm just curious. My prediction is this. Be the or no, to be assistant.
Yeah.
I got a feeling if the Sabres
Yeah, but they didn't make any moves. No, they did not. I thought they were terrible. Power play was pathetic. I think looking back at the season, I didn't mind them hiring Rob, but not allowing their own coaches his own. Just a hamster wheel. Every time you think you've seen it all, something else comes up. It's like something else comes up. It's like, wait a minute. I do think for me it's that part was frustrating because you know you know you're of course eventually it comes into but not see two for Thompson. I mean, it's just bad luck. It was overall bad luck of the season. You know,
you have your teammates' backs. And like they interviewed Zucker after the game. Oh, we won. Yeah. That wasn't the point.
The point is stand up for your teammates.
Stand up for your teammates.
I mean, but so going to this press conference because the whole, because Kevin Adams was on Kevin Adams and Jerry Ferrara, it's an annual pre-draft press conference there. You listened to the whole press conference yesterday. What was your thoughts on it, Mike?
Well, Adam said, was telling us, don't believe the media, rumors. But then he talked about Patrica. He didn't say that if he asked for a trade or not, but he said him and Lindy had good talks with him at the end of the season end of the season walk meetings. So I don't know if it's his agent or what, but I think Tuck is the guy they got to sign. That sets the tone.
Yeah,
he's a free agent after next year. Does Tuck really want to be here? That's what you got to find.
Well, they did. Kevin Adams did say his press conference. He that's the number of priority was signing Alex Tuck to. That's the big thing.
They got and I think the goaltending is a key issue for me too.
Yeah, but
I think you go with Hoopa and Levi, or do you bring in a veteran and let Levi?
No, you can't go with Hoopa. Like if we've seen this movie before with the young guys. It just doesn't work. I don't understand why you can't. You bring in veteran. I mean, Ryan, but he's not the answer. You need an established goaltender. Prime goaltender.
Who's out there that we could get?
That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, but the whole press conference from what it's another example of this.
I'm just waiting. I let you talk tonight, as usual. I'm gonna get my 2 cents in, of course. You know that darn well.
Yeah, we know how friends do, but
because I let you chat and everything.
I want to hear your 2 cents.
Of course, you would say that. I had a feeling you would say that.
Well, but let me finish my thought.
Don't call it grandma.
But no, but let me finish my thought here, Fred. If I get to see this camera, but this whole thing's a train wreck. Because every time you listen to Kevin speak, and again, I didn't listen to the whole part of this conference. It just seems like they keep shooting themselves in the foot for one press conference. Remember, it's like this arrogance of. Now, I don't know what it is. The lack of self-awareness of this organization is so evident. I mean, you look at it and you're like, are you not aware that you need help? I just don't get it. I mean, I just don't get. It's one thing. What was the term that like this like being condescending? Like, okay, we're winning team, but you're not even 14 years. Why are you so condescending? Why is it that this organization comes across as condescending? Like, I feel bad for the fans here. I might, I just, honestly, it's embarrassing. I don't know how to put it. Like, and I get, I wonder if the pressure of is gotten to ask. I wonder. Now, Fred, what was your 2 cents on the press conference here?
My 2 cents on this is that, first off of the matter, Kevin Adams has every right to be grilled by the fan base as well as the media. That's number one. As 5 years as GM, I'm not going to knock every single move that he's done because there's some good and bad. Every GM has that. But, to originally say they want people to be here when this started 5 years ago during COVID, and then it's evolved into, you hear about this guy wants out, that guy wants out, or you hear all the stuff that about 5 years of losing like they have, whether it be Don Granato, which this about a year and 2 months ago, last year we were at our wits' end saying Don Granato should be fired, and at one point I was hesitant to fire him because of what he's did with the team, and they wanted to play less of a running gun style like they were known for, and more defensively responsible. And then they talked about accountability and all that good stuff. And before that, you had leftover from Housley and that sort of stuff. So, I mean, this is all on Ken Ennis. We know that for a darn fact as far as how he built this. But going back to the presser, I'm not surprised one bit. Now, am I going to be as harsh as Kevin Adams said about talking about the media that they make up bullshit? Not necessarily, because I think that might have been a shot at Frank Saravalli. If you ask me, because Frank Saravalli's been reporting about the rumors of JJ Paterka wanting out, and over the past couple of weeks, and he's on number one on the trade target. Now, is that his JJ's agent that's pushing this out there, like you mentioned earlier, Jimbo? Probably. Is the media blowing out of proportion that he wants out? To a certain extent, yes, because that's how the game works sometimes. You know that darn well.
Right.
During this time of year, everything's get blown out of proportion. So until I actually see stuff done and trades done, I mean, that's to be seen by Friday night or before the July 1st or whatever off-season move they do. But I'm not disagreeing with you that, coming off arrogant in your press conference is not the way you go about.
At what point do you have the right to come out arrogant towards the media when you don't have a track record of winning? It's one thing if you're winning, one thing if this actually winning in the playoffs, but they haven't made the playoffs for 2 years. So I think like a lot of fans, I don't get the sense of arrogance when you haven't. That's the whole problem. It's this arrogance that comes across but it's just it's not making the situation better. It's just
nothing's going to make the situation better.
No, I'm sorry, but it's making
winning makes the situation
better. Kevin Adams can say, it's all talk at this point. Kevin Adams has lost the fan base in the past 5 years. So
Wait a minute.
anything he says is not going to be credible with anybody at this point.
Wait a minute.
No matter
Hold on,
if his intentions are good or not.
Is it kind of, or is it really Terry Pegula?
It's both.
But
It's
that's
both.
really.
But how? But let me add. You got the Bills. You got the Sabres. Both owned by Pegula.
And the Bandits.
The Bandits. But Pegula has the right people in Bean and McDermott with the Bills, and he lets them. The Sabres dysfunctional. How many GMs have he had? Murray, Bottarelli.
Bottarelli.
Whatever.
Yeah, Bottarelli's in Seattle. So what's your point?
But we've had GMs that have just.
You're buying it. That's a PR disaster on our end.
LaFontaine didn't want Ryan Miller traded, and he was bought out to shut up and keep his mouth quiet. The Sabres under Pegula have been a disaster.
Well,
a train wreck.
Well, you could also say the same thing about Brandon Bean being arrogant on calling out to talk about wide receivers on Jeremy and Joe's show.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I'm just throwing
Mike,
shade out there too.
But wait a minute, Mike. But he got locked into that. I could argue locked into, but like, I see that's the whole problem.
Nobody wants to come to play for the Sabres. The Bills, Josh Allen, company, guys that don't want to be here. That's the culture of this franchise is a joke. That nobody. If I'm a player out there, am I looking at the Sabres?
No, I don't know. No, I agree. That's the whole point.
Free agency, who's their target?
This organization has become a joke because of stuff like this. Why? And I agree with you. It's embarrassing. It saddens me because I'm like Dwayne right now. I'm like I don't know. I'm like Dwayne right now. 5 years ago, it's like how you love this organization so much, and yet you keep getting shot time and time again.
I loved last week. They threw a Sabre jersey to Reinhardt. Did you see it?
I heard about it. Yeah,
Jordan was partying and he threw him a Sabre jersey. Dog, he signed it. He looked like, what the hell?
I know he's having fun, but like the look.
But nobody who wants to be here.
Let's
be honest with you, right? It's a train wreck.
Yeah, there's also called Trainwreck Sports and all that good stuff on YouTube. There's so many podcasts out there locally.
And by the way, Andrew Peters, I mean, I know you're talking to Peters, but have him come on our podcast.
I'd love to.
Yeah, you see him again. I've seen Andrew in how many years? Like
not since the scooter incident.
Yeah, that was a train wreck itself. Like that makes the Sabres PR.
I've tweeted about it at some points at him, and I don't think he knows that I'm the one that he, wrote up a vehicle because I was like a deer in the headlights. I bring up on my show, but it's like I don't think he knows it was me that he saved my life, and I am forever grateful.
Yeah. And he's a great guy. I've known Andrew for about 6-7 years, and he's a great guy.
I've run into
him. They're having their
I've ran into a Target, or I ran into it at the local gas station up in town by the pharmacy. What a wonderful man. I mean, you may not like his controversial opinions or his controversial opinions.
Andrew, I ask him about all the time.
Man, him or Reve, when you listen, those two, they're former players. I mean, when I listen, it's like the passion that, the passion they exude.
I really thought, the rumor I was hearing back before this, the rumors flying around there with Ryan Miller was going to come back with the franchise, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, I can't buy.
Well, I mean,
this is where I can't buy the that sort of stuff because
they hired that other guy. He didn't want to be here.
What, Eric Stahl? You're talking about?
Remember when they brought him in?
Yeah.
He was 20 games. He was out of here.
Yeah, but now he's assistant.
Yeah, but what the hell's he gonna do?
I think it's just
that was back at the COVID season. I think he went out because they missed the playoff year by one point during the COVID season.
But, all right, we got to move on here. Move on here.
I know you want so.
Well, what are we thinking on the goalie?
I didn't even get to the goalie. You bring up stuff that I have nothing on my list, Mike.
He always does that.
I don't look at the list. I just players. That's what I'm famous for.
It's going to be. I think one of the goaltending situations is going to be UPL, but here's the thing: where would you had
Levi? I want Levi here.
No, Mike, I'm sorry. You cannot have. he needs a full season in the AHL. I mean,
and he just played the whole season.
Yeah,
he needs another season,
but a full season. I don't trust the goaltender situation. This is our problem with this organization. It's like, you need the goaltender to make you saves, and the defense is horrible. But all the time in the world, and the goaltending has been so. I'm just this is another thing with the goaltending. It's like you can't just be UPL and Levi. I'm sorry. We saw this movie early last year. It just didn't work. You can't. You need to bring a better guy that's another guy, not Reimer's age, but you need someone that's proven that can, be a stabilizer. That's all. I don't, I'm not. I don't doubt Leo can be good.
UPL can't make the big save.
And I'm not expecting Reimer to. I would love Reimer back, but he's gonna be 38, 39.
No, I don't want a guy 38, 39.
Unless you're the old Tampa Bay goaltender that played for like he was 38, 39 years old back 10 years ago. He played until he was close to 40. I'm not talking about Craig Anderson. Was it Alex Auld or was it I can't think of his name right now. Back, he played for a stint in Tampa Bay. Dwayne Rollison.
Dwayne Rollison. Dwayne Rollison, man, that was.
I threw that name up.
Wow.
That's who I.
Steve Shields.
Or Steve Shields or something.
Well, he's long.
Maybe I'm thinking the wrong goaltender, but
But again, the goaltending.
Well,
our defense has got to be upgraded, and not just with
you got to find a guy to play with
power and Darlene again. This is going back to last year. So we are going to before I get into my list, because Mike always likes to go off the rails on me. This is typical Mike. So
that's what brings me to fun.
This is why we bring Mike guy. He likes to challenge us and go off the rails.
Yeah.
So I like testing Mike. So before we throw this, so you talked about the thirst. We're not going to go to can the Sabres make the playoffs. That's a prove it type thing. We nobody seems to think the Sabres are going to make the playoffs this upcoming year, so we will skip that. Do you have any thoughts on why the 13-game losing streak?
You already answered the question for us.
So do we answer why the 13-game losing streak on the reflection part?
That ruined them. They actually, I remember, did they have like a 4-0 lead against Colorado?
Yeah, the 4-0 and they blew that. That was, I think, the dagger.
It's probably one of the games I didn't show up. When I show up to the arena, the Sabres win. That's no joke. Ask my buddy at Amazon. I will tell you.
When they had the 4-0 against Colorado, and then
twice they blew games against Colorado.
Yeah, it's a study thing with this organization where you are just like, and after a game, it's like, that's this.
Do we have the magic eraser on Google?
And like what Adam said, I found it. He said during that 13-game losing streak, he should have done something. He said it. He goes, I should have brought.
Yeah, but this is the juxtaposition.
But if your team keeps losing, you got to do something. Change something.
And see, this is the problem with with
So hold that thought. We're gonna go into that right now. I hate to interrupt your thought. So we are gonna discuss why the Sabres actually added front office positions. So carry on with that conversation.
Yeah,
because they need help in looking at things, and I think hopefully Stahl. And how do you say that guy's name?
Yarmo Kekelin.
Oh my God! Oh man, palm trees.
Texas and palm trees.
See the palm tree.
Yeah.
We're actually on live on. Man, the palm. Yeah. See, this is like spy TV.
You want to add more 2 cents? Go right ahead. Let's hear it. Do you have a U-Haul truck with that too? Does anybody want a moving sale?
Have a garbage.
Garbage sale.
Within the next 10 years.
Yeah.
It's a St. John Salon Fate's doing business.
Man, wow.
Right.
Right.
Well, that was an unexpected twist right there.
You must have thought we were doing something, talking about the Sabres and throw your line off. That was a hot take.
I got a good topic for the last part of our show.
Yeah. All right, let's go.
Let's go into.
Let's go back to.
I know Mike's got to throw bills in there. So.
Yeah.
I figured you would. I figured you would because
show without the bills.
Because I thought.
No, but let's go back to.
We're gonna go. Let's go into that.
No, let's go back.
Here, look at this stand of the day. I'm a Catholic. We've
know.
had 3 popes since the Sabres last made the playoffs.
Oh wow!
There's Mike's stand of the day.
It's like WGR stand of that day.
3 popes.
The Sabres are not blessed. Lord, forgive me for saying that.
All right. So going back to the.
So what does anybody think about the front office additions? I know you touched on it, but let's deeper dive into it.
I gotta hope they're gonna help. I gotta hope. And I think if Adams bombs, I think he's got till Thanksgiving time. If he bombs, they'll promote the guy from Columbus.
Kekalani there. Yeah, but Kekalani, I think overall, I love the hire because he brings the aggressiveness to rotation.
Well, he's a guy to take chances. Nobody thought he was going to get the guy that died.
Johnny Gaudreau, and
he got him.
Yeah. And that's what some of us been missing. Is I agree.
Can you turn down your volume?
Yeah.
I've been turning down. You have to flip it on the other thing.
They're getting a little heated in here. The volume's
My volume.
It's on the other
side. We do welcome spectators to add on when they come in here. That's important someday.
All right, let's try this again.
Okay.
All right, sorry about that, fellas. I'm working on. As again, we are working on.
Lean it up towards the thing.
There we go.
It's gonna fall down. Everybody see my biceps?
I don't know why you brought your iPad.
Oh. Fred, please give me a hand here. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna go to the overlay for a second, so hold on.
See, I struggled.
Did you turn it up?
I did.
Okay, there you go. We don't need it that low.
All right.
Okay.
All right, back to, yeah, I do agree. I thought the Kekalani was smart. Kekalani was smart, for being a GM. Now I know he's going to be remote Columbus, which I think why.
That was interesting to hear yesterday, and I think Paul Hamilton was not thrilled about.
I'm not thrilled about either. I'm sorry.
I'm a guy here day to day. Know what the hell's going on.
I mean, what does it matter at this point? I mean, Kekalani can be on video stream, or I'm assuming he'll be live at the Bills War Room Friday night. I mean, that's my guess. I have no knowledge of that, but I'm.
Like maybe during the season. Oh, good golly. No, but but again, I know. But again,
I think we all can agree the Yarmo hire is great, and I think that's been sorely needed since Kevin Adams took the job. I think most fans would agree that this should have been a priority number 1. But if when you look back at COVID, that Terry was cutting expenses except for his new yacht at the time.
You're reading the article. I mean,
he doesn't seem to cut the food expenses.
Hey, I threw that out there because that. I mean, what can I say?
Terry, disappointed.
But I mean, you could think about that, and I don't disagree. I mean, during that time, I think I can understand that. But at this point, this is hindsight 2020. I mean, you talk about efficient economic and all that crap. I mean, well, that didn't get you anywhere. That's almost like saying you brought back Darcy Regier to run the team. It was in 2020 to be economic efficient, like it was under Galasano. At least Darcy couldn't do that. I guess Kevin couldn't do that either. Terry couldn't do that either. But hey,
but see, this is
I digress.
Yeah, but but Vegas spending at what point this cap budgeting is it's not working. You need. I'm sorry. You've gotten one of the biggest spending. Start using it. Stop wasting. This is my problem here. Again, not to get off track here, but going back to Kekalani, and then Eric Stahl here. When the Stahl thing, I think a lot of fans were like, "What the world? Why are they hiring Stahl here in the first?"
He's friends with Kevin Adams.
Yeah, but again, I think wide receiver that's where I think I was a little bit more patient with that. And say, okay, well, he's not the senior advisor, obviously not, but it's he's a He's not the senior advisor. So I, but like, why are you hiring? I mean, it's gonna be like an apprenticeship role. I think I think more the player side aspect of it. Okay, but like but could he be? I eventually could he be a general manager one day? Yeah, but
I think you see it a lot more
Yeah,
now during the league, but of course with this ownership group, I mean, it's going to be made a spectacle and news because of the non-success. I mean, yes, yeah. Do I think Eric Stahl is a great? Eric Stahl was a great hockey player. He won a Stanley Cup with Carolina. You can't take that away from him. He's got knowledge that he can promote around. Um, Obviously, his time in Buffalo, I mean, you could debate what it wasn't successful or was successful, or he was too far gone at the end of his career to totally make a contribution. But at this point, him being a voice in the room could 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 help guide, be a liaison between players and management. Could also help Adams and the scouting staff. Let's find more depth in what they want from a pipeline organizationally. Um, I found it interesting that it was announced right after the season ended that Seth Afford was promoted to promoted to something for a scouting position. He's still going to be assistant, coach.
Yeah,
but he's added on that title. I mean, I know there was probably some criticism there, but I mean, with his background with USA Development, I mean, I don't think it would hurt, but I want,
Yeah, but see,
let's
why
hear
would
your.
why would you want to add like the power? See, to me, it doesn't make sense. Okay, maybe
Mike's got a mean look tonight.
No, I'm just trying to think of it.
no, but
Do you want me to pull up the Seth Afford?
Oh, you're fine. No, I'm just listening.
Yeah, but like does but
Friends on a roll.
yeah. So you're
Jimmy
saying I'm not on a roll?
Jimmy likes interrupting me. You know that darn well.
Well, I got to be the argumentative here. I got to be the devil's advocate.
Well, that's why it used to be called.
I think Seth Afford is going to be the new coach when Ruff steps down.
Well, I think that's why we used to call this podcast "Stop Interrupting Me."
Wait. Will he be? I mean, that point, I'm not wrong. But like, what if Cat lines to GM and says, "Look, like see to me, like, like your point earlier about November, like, I don't think we wait 10 games in a season. If they're not, then
Greg Ramsey lasted 10 games.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, but
I don't remember when this was about.
What's Ted Nolan doing now?
I don't know.
Like we care about, no offense, but like we care about Ted Nolan at this point.
No, but like
no, I'm just it's frustrating.
No, I agree.
I've given up on this club.
Like so many.
I'm not surprised that everybody's given up on the club.
I don't know how they sell tickets. I don't know how they sell tickets.
I don't know either.
Sell them secondhand off eBay.
No, but I'd like to know how many renewals they got.
I think it was like 5,000, something like that. I don't know what the season ticket renewal is. So, by the way, what were we on? We're talking about the prize. I know we're talking about.
I think we got that part down.
The draft.
Yeah, we're on the draft.
I think we're beating a dead horse.
We've been beating a dead horse, Mike.
Yeah, you're right.
So who are we looking at in the draft?
That's the biggest question.
If the rumor I hear, if they do trade that JJ, whatever,
Paterka.
the Blackhawks at 3, would you do it?
Well, let's go. Let's go.
I got him.
Let's go. No, you didn't get me.
Let's have a little debate with this.
We are gonna. This is leading the rumor part. So, obviously, you could. Let's start with JJ Paterka. I'm gonna butcher his name like Craig Gervais does all the time. So forgive me. So, if we look at this from a league perspective, which teams make the most sense right now? They're looking for a scoring winger.
Chicago.
I'm gonna. Yeah, but like there's like I'm looking for more like Dallas, like because I want Jason Robertson. To me, you know you need that two-way player.
Yeah, but is he a free agent?
No.
No.
So
No.
it was reported by your buddy Andrew that Toronto and Pittsburgh were interested in Perturker. We're having serious conversations. I know there's talked about Vancouver, New York,
Vancouver gotta be
Chicago.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that means nothing to me at this point. I mean, that's one piece. That's like you're doing Edmonton a favor basically, if you're looking at this. What would I do a third round pickup for JT Japerti?
No, the third overall pick.
Third overall.
I know that. I get that.
You said third round.
Third round.
I mean,
we gotta hammer you, buddy.
You said third round. Like, wait a minute. Who wants to get that pick in the third round?
Yeah,
Hey, we
touche.
caught it. Both of us caught it. Third round. You said third round.
That's a third round.
We love you, buddy.
Yeah.
This is what makes your show keep on turning.
Yeah.
Banter like this.
Want us back?
So if you, I know we're only getting one view. I gotta, we're not.
One view. Who the hell's that?
Who knows?
That guy probably in the back.
Yeah, probably guy in the back. Anyway, would I do JJ Paterka 9th overall pick in the first round to trade up for the third round?
Third overall pick.
Get it right.
Right.
Third overall pick.
Oh my God.
Chicago's got to be sending back something. I mean I mean, there's no value chart. I mean, I would say 60% chance do it, but I think that's not enough. To me, I don't think Adams wants to do a pick swap. They prospect swap or like futures. But he supposedly wants another first round overall pick. So do you want does he drop down back a few spots to if let's say hypothetical he does a deal with Pittsburgh. Does he ship Paterka and the 9th overall pick to Pittsburgh for like a 11th overall pick and
I heard today
recover?
Regula really likes JJ.
Of course he likes that.
No,
but
I don't think.
I guess he supposed to Saravalli said Terry signed off on a trade for JJ a trade for JJ Paterka trade. That's what Saravalli was reporting.
Now, but
Who is this guy?
He's one of the rumor experts. Frank Saravalli, Canada, TSN, or like that sort of stuff, or Daily Faceoff.
No, but see,
that's where Jeff Merrick moved over to because he was with Elliot Friedman. So here's the other thing I'll say. I mean, you have your Darren Dreger, you have your Elliot Friedman, and then you have other reliable, different sources. There's got to be some middle ground that JJ does want on Buffalo, but maybe it's not as dramatic as what it seems.
Well, I don't. That's the thing. Like, there's no transparency. But with the Blackhawks third overall pick, that's a. I don't want to be trading picks for profit.
I don't think I would want the third.
I want like a legitimate top six. If I'm getting trading range Kirk, I want a legitimate top six winger.
You're looking for. I think this leads into discussion of if you're trading Byram, you're looking for either a right shot defenseman for power, or you're looking for something to replace Paterka.
I thought we're still talking about Paterka.
But I'm just hold on a second. This is still talking about Paterka, but this is also sort of leading to Byram. No matter what happens between the trade, there's a possibility. I'm just saying from overall perspective, you're hearing those names, and hypothetically, you want a good decent return like what you did with the
Savoy and
not Savoy. I'm talking about the Eichel deal back in 2021. Regardless of what we all think,
but that was a totally different situation.
We know see now. There's also rumors that the Sabres want a second line center. So I'm throwing I'm bringing this up
because Josh North supposed to be the second line center? That's
first line. So here's the whole coming back full circle. These rumors that we're talking about right now is if you want like a Pedersen, if there's interest there too, and then there was something about the Islanders and Noah Dobson with JJ Paterka, and all these different rumors swirling around. I mean, you have to think. If you're swapping Paterka for a defenseman like a Noah Dobson or at least a Connor Murphy, I would be okay with it. Maybe not necessarily with a swap up. If you could do that, that would be great. But I'd more realistically see you're swapping player for player, and then you're like either you're do what's it gonna take for acquiring Person? Do you give up both of them in a Person deal? Uh, and if we're getting a center back in that hypothetical, aren't you sending Josh Norris or Peyton Krebs to Vancouver and there's also that supposed rumor that Samson might be shipped out. Are you sending that in an Islanders deal?
Yeah, but
this is where I'm wondering what.
You mentioned Sabres. There was a rumor that they're going to buy him out.
Yeah, there's been these rumors.
But remember yesterday, Adam's press conference said you're not.
Adams was a wing. They're paying him. The guy's always hurt.
Let's be honest with you. The Adams press conference was only to be smokescreen because they're not going to tell you everything. You can pick.
But isn't that what we want? Transparency.
Hold on. You can get transparency, but you as a GM. I don't, you can say arrogance, but if you're not trying to reveal everything in a pre-draft conference where it can be leaked out to every other general manager.
But we want answers as fans.
I know you want answers as fans, and I get that, Jimbo. But if you look at it from a different perspective, you can find bits and clues that you can pick out, like what Jeremy and Joe were saying earlier this morning on WGR. Or whatever Peters and Gervais would say on their podcast whenever they update. I'm just giving you the tidbits of information, and I want you. What I'm looking for is what your opinions on what you would want to see.
I want to see. No, I want to see if I'm calling Dallas for Jason Robertson. Mitch Marner. When Mitch Marner, obviously, I don't think you're going to.
They're not getting close to Mitch.
I'm not worried about that. I'm saying Mitch Marner is a pipe dream at this
No,
point.
but what I'm saying is I want
fences though.
I don't want. If I'm trading Turkey, I'm not giving away for nothing. I want Jason, like your Jason Robertson player, or that I'd be targeting. I wouldn't want to be the pick and prospecting.
I'm tired of prospects. I want a guy.
No, I agree, and that's what I'm saying.
Well, going back to the Peters comment I mentioned earlier that Peter said, wouldn't you think if you're doing trial, you're getting back Matthew Nyes, because there was a report that's saying that Matthew Nyes and the Maple Leafs, I don't know if they were on terms with an extension or anything like that. So could you see that potentially?
I could see
as a pick swap, or
that could
not
be
pick swap, or a forward swap that you could.
About Nylander.
I could see Nyes.
I don't see Nylander moving from Toronto. I'm just saying, talking about rumors and stuff. You're hearing about Matthew. You heard about Matthew Nyes. That's where I could see if the Andrews connected next to Toronto or Pittsburgh. I mean Toronto for Nyes, or if you're looking for Rickard Rakell and one of those picks, or another defenseman back in there. There's so many options that you could discuss. Until they happen by draft night or by July 1st, now you factor in the offer sheets too, that could be presented, to JJ Paterka, during July 1st. There's always room for that the Sabres can match that. But let's say that's a scenario you could consider where if it knocked the Sabres' socks off, they might consider the offer sheet. I mean, there's too much variance to know, but let's just wrap that part up. Where do you think Paterka could go? I think maybe you already said that.
I've heard Minnesota.
I would, to me, I don't think Mark Russ type player need. I think you need. I'm thinking Dallas.
Keep saying Dallas. But because I know you want Jason Robertson, but I mean that
No,
would be a dream scenario.
Dream scenario, but like realistically, you probably could go like Pittsburgh or the Islanders. Like I could
Pittsburgh's in a rebuilding.
I could potentially see. Oh no, I could potentially see Toronto as a.
No, I don't know. I don't know his use. Guy we know. How are we doing tonight? We're having live guests tonight on our show.
Doing good.
Sabres, what's your opinion?
What's your opinion on the draft, and who do you think they're going to trade Paterka or Byron? Who would you like to see them go to?
Oh, we got no opinions at all on that.
No Bills.
Anything on the Bills you want?
Should have done a Bills show.
And Sabres too, though. I like the Sabres.
I'm the old guy, but I'll speak my truth. They suck.
Yeah. No, but like I would say, but going back to where Paterka, if there, I mean, they don't have to trade him, but but you know, my scenario would be either Dallas or LA Kings. I mean, I know there's mention of it with
Are you talking about Quinn Byfield?
Yeah, Quinn Byfield.
Or are you looking at
or Lafreniere, like the Rangers?
Because
there was rumors about Lafreniere and Paterka, so I could see some of that nature happening. But again, this is all smoke until. But this is the whole lot. No, I'm sorry, but see to me, this all is smoke until I need to see action. If I don't see action, then all this is for naught because and then we're possible. And there, I could see a rebuild happen because of it because you're. But this is we're in the same boat every year with this. So to me,
I want to see a blockbuster.
Everyone wants to see a blockbuster,
When you go
Mike.
back to LaFontaine trade, and when we got Turgeon, we traded Turgeon, then we made the big trade the year that we got rid of Danny Gare.
Yeah, but that's what we need to see some sort of blockbuster trade to shake up this franchise.
Well, maybe Brendan
Bowen Byram for blockbuster trade. I'm talking about Bowen Byram. Let's see. Let's go into Bowen Byram. He was paired with when he originally got traded to Buffalo from Colorado. He was paired up with Rasmus Dahlin, and that pair was on fire. Once he got moved away from Dahlin onto Power, not so much. There was been rumors about Byram wanting a bigger role, and he cannot get behind Power and Dahlin. Not that he's not unhappy with being in Buffalo. He loves the city and everything, but he's looking to be the star defenseman. So we talk about Vancouver as one of those destinations. He's from Vancouver. It would be a full story. You could talk about Patterson, but let's if you want like a NHL ready player, what about Brock Besser? What about
I don't think
anybody in their system to fortify adding winger depth versus center depth?
Well, the point of it, I don't think Brock Besser would be, I've heard some rumors about, their trade, but like Patterson to me seems like the more logical thing. Byron wants to be, for all accounts, he wants to be a number one player. He went, he wants to be a number one defenseman to play power play and stuff. Playing power play, playing the big minutes. Like, on here, he's probably like your number 3 defense behind Power and Dahlin. So there's no way, he can be a number one defensive here unless there's an injury. So to me, I think, Vancouver makes the most sense. Vancouver would make the most sense. But, what about Toronto? Like, they need a number one defenseman. What about, Pittsburgh can get younger if that defense.
Pittsburgh could be going through a rebuild.
No, that's right. I'm sorry about Pittsburgh.
So, I mean, they still got Crosby and Malkin, but they are close to their 40s. And not saying that they don't have life left. They definitely do. But it's like, what do you like? You're Kyle Dubas, and you're realizing that. You also got Eric Carlson too. He's up there in the mid-30s. And it's like your dynasty, I think you just missed the playoffs this past season. So are you realizing it's time to turn a leaf over?
I think you have to move out of your Pittsburgh.
So,
I know, but I think at some point, all great dynasty eras are like, we'll have to the
I'm trying to see any
but
crazy
I'm
thing.
just saying, again, like return.
Try Hockey Buzz. They usually have some good stuff.
I don't trust Hockey Buzz a lot. I've kind of stopped trusting them because I don't think their sources are accurate.
So who would be there at the 9th pick that would excite you guys?
For London,
Rennie Murka, like a a 6'6" defenseman, does have a physical edge. Here's the one winner I would maybe a right winner that I would be interested in if it fell to them. I've heard about Brady Martin, people liking Brady Martin. It's right there.
I see it now. There we go. Oh yeah, I don't want. Hopefully it's not broken now.
I look like broken order.
Yeah, but like I need that physical. But we need the physicality, like But
Matthew Shaver's number 1. I mean, I think it's going to be supposedly in all over the place.
And then Nisa's.
I was going to say Porter Martone.
Porter Malone.
Martone.
Martone.
Yep.
Is it not Porter Matto? No.
See, the reason why I haven't brought up any of the draft stuff tonight is because I believe I would like to trade the 9th overall pick for something. Now we haven't talked about Jack Quinn, but what do you think he still has a future on this team, or you think he's going to be dealt with a Paterka or Byram in a package deal?
See, that's
I'm throwing that out there.
Yeah, but Quinn, you met he had the injury a couple seasons ago, and he has he doesn't look the same.
Yeah.
To me, as far as long-term future, unfortunately I don't see him being here long term. I mean, long term. To be honest with you, I think he could be a guy that can be refreshing to see. I think what you need on this team is the physicality. We haven't the physical, more diversity in the lineup. You can't have all skill here, and that's what we've been trying to say for many years. Is that you need different style players that have grit and like a Ryan Reeves.
Okay, here's I just looked at ESPN NHL mock draft, their final one.
Yep.
9th pick for the Sabres.
If they do keep it.
Jake O'Brien, forward, Brantford.
I've heard of Jake O'Brien. That's another one.
Let me read real quick. He's deceptive and incredibly smooth. O'Brien projects to be a point-producing type 6 center with a chance to become a top-line center. Right-handed pivot is one of the best playmakers of the draft, creating high-danger chances with regularity for any money. For my money, he's the best pure creator in the draft.
Yeah, but my question, could that be your
Jack? 2-3 years away from playing an impact in the NHL.
Yeah, but I'm saying we don't need to rush that anyway. But back to your point about the 9th pick, it's like with Jack Quinn. Fred mentioned about. I just said that I don't think he has a long-term future with this team. I think to me, he hasn't shown me the type of injuries and the promise that with the goal scoring. I just don't in the defense game. To me, he's not the player we need on this team. We need more physicality, more grit in this team, and we don't. I think that's not Quinn's game. I mean, that's not what. So to me, I mean, I just to me he's come a player that can be expendable. I mean, and no disrespect to Quinn. I think he hasn't. But at this point, you got to do shake again. Another one of those things that you got to shake at the roster. But we've been saying that for years. So this is
what they're doing. Don't talk.
You have to exactly. You got to do something.
Put up or shut up.
But so what are your thoughts on Jack Quinn? Does he stay here long term?
I'd like to see him stay here long term, but the problem is he's injury. I think it's make or break with him.
Yeah, but
I think if the right players are out there, you might have to move them.
Yeah, but that's my point. It's like to me, that's why I don't see him long term because he's just
Peyton Krebs is a guy I could see that moving.
No, Peyton Krebs. No, I think he's a good fourth line. I'm sorry, but
I don't think Peyton Krebs has lived up to his billing here.
Yeah, but he's a good fourth player. But again, but see, that's the thing. the roster it's not playoff caliber. It hasn't been. So I, you know, but
If you really want my honest take about the, I already said it, but to me, you're saying it point blank that any of these players might take 2 or 3 years. At this point, I don't have time or the patience
No,
to
you can't take
worry about drafting with the 9th overall pick. I think I would like them to use it as draft capital. I mean, trade capital. See, I mean, if you pick up another first rounder late in the first rounder, to me, it doesn't matter. I'm not worried about that. I'd rather use it something towards now, like you said, because to me, I mean, maybe the draft, like this might be the 2003 draft where like everybody's team boards are over, but like 14 years of losing and drafting high. I don't think fans see the point in drafting when you have all these picks and prospects already in your pipeline, and if you want to use some of your picks and prospects to deal for these NHL stars, that's what this team needs to do.
Yeah, but
that's why I'm not putting any stock into drafting 9th overall. If they do, okay, I'm not going to get upset.
But doesn't that signal another rebuild? Because that's where I feel this sort of is headed. Because
if it signals another rebuild, Adam Steffley is not going to be back as GM.
I'm sorry, that's my problem. But that's my problem.
You know that.
He knows it.
He knows it. Exactly.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, but do we want? I don't think we want to go through your career. But that's what it feels like it's head towards is another rebuild. And I think
it will head towards another rebuild after this year if they miss the playoffs and Darlene and Tage asked to want out.
Said it best the other day. If they don't make the playoffs this year, there's going to be a lot of guys wanting out.
Yeah, no kidding.
So
we know that, and the and those chants of sell the team tier. They thought they were loud enough last year. If they miss the playoffs if they're out of it already by October, November, December, then the whole there will be no fans, even buyers, showing up at all. You've seen it for the past couple of years, even for these kids' nights. When have you see Maple Leafs fans that are building and say "Go Leafs, go"? You've seen other teams saying it's like it's yeah, exactly.
But that's to my whole point.
No begrudging against those fans for buying tickets down here, but what does that tell you? You know darn well that Terry's obviously Terry's probably losing money, so he's trying to do all this cost saving one way or another, and then they haven't, like you said, they haven't spent to the cap and got God knows how many years.
But that's the problem. The whole problem with it,
right.
So all that said, done. I think I'm going to throw Mike to this for a little bit of Bill's talk,
yeah,
right? Because I think we've burned the bridges.
We've talked enough on the Sabres.
Yeah.
I got a couple Bills that what do you want to talk about first of all?
Just
Bills.
The Brandon being a WGR on my receivers. What was your take on?
I love the receivers. I really do. I like Samuel last year was hurt. He's a playmaker. Hopefully he's healthy. The guy Palmer from San Diego, great pickup.
Los Angeles now. Grudge on your.
Keon Coleman's a guy that's kind of produced. He was playing well until he got knocked out by Boyer. And Shakir, I do like
Mr. Reliable.
I think the key guy in that offense is Kincaid. I think they challenged Kincaid. He's got to produce. The running backs, the offensive line, phenomenal with Josh. I'd like to see an extension for James Cook, but not at $15 million a year.
That's another thing you mentioned.
I'd like to see a bridge deal with Cook, maybe a 2-year, 3-year. I think Cook's a perfect guy for this franchise.
Yeah.
I gotta hope the defense. I'm still worried about the defense. If you look at the defense last year, boys, how the hell did they win 15 games?
13.
Count the playoffs.
I know, 15. Yeah, good point.
The secondary, from what I'm hearing, and I'm glad he's back here, Tre'Davious White had a good mini camp. I'm hoping he can stay healthy. I'm not. The safeties, I was a little disappointed to hear that Bishop's hurt again.
Yeah,
Cole Bishop?
Yeah, Cole Bishop would. I'm hoping he.
I'm not sold on Hamlin.
Well, no,
I don't think there's an upgrade path to Hamlin. I think he was serviceable.
He's a feel good story, but he's not a starting football.
But he did handle the starting role last year with 5, so you got to give him credit. There's a lot more floor than ceiling with Hamlin. Can you agree with that part?
Yeah, but he was always behind a guy.
Yeah, but here's my point with
they need a ball hawk guy back there.
Well, that's I think is supposed to be for the new cornerback there. That we drafted.
And I gotta hope Joey Bosa can stay healthy.
That's our Joey Bosa.
I like the fact, but they got to make sure that guy's healthy. And now I did read today, across the league, there's only 2 second-round picks that have signed, and our guy is one of the 30. And he's a guy they're counting on. The guy from South Carolina, up front there, JT. What's his name? JT.
Something
from South Carolina.
Yeah, I know the defensive end. Yeah, they drafted her.
I do like Harris. I mean, number 1 pick.
Yeah, Max Harris is. Yeah, Max Harris was the guy I mentioned. Like the ball. Like.
And I do. I think though, guys. I think we got to get the number 1 seed.
I agree. That's
our target. And I know the rate. I hate to say it. First game of the season is going to be big. Baltimore's coming in here. They're looking for revenge.
Do not remind me about last year in Baltimore. I know they're looking for revenge.
We have to come out and win that opener.
Because if you remember last year when we played Baltimore in the home game, Derrick Henry whooped our ass. Plain and simple.
Well, but I'm going to be. Let's get back to the playoffs for a minute. We're about the games. And I was talking to a guy last night about this. If you remember our playoffs, Denver, we were great offensively. Baltimore, the first half, they were good on offense. They played well. All of a sudden, they went into this funk. The second half on Baltimore, they held on, and it carried over into Kansas City. They weren't really like flying. Brady, I got to see more out of Joe Brady this year with that offense.
That is a hot take.
Especially for the best scoring offense in the league. Mike.
Well, I know, but
I know,
but they got into I think they got away from some things last year in the playoffs. They got conservative.
I think the defense last year let us down.
Oh yeah.
Especially that's been a
defense sucks.
That's been a running gag for the postseason from under McDean and McBean.
And they brought in a couple assistants.
Play more man
cover. A guy from New England.
Yeah.
Yep.
And another guy that our expertise in man-to-man pressure type defense.
Yep.
So, and I think they want fast, quick guys. And up front, they got a game like Ed Oliver. I felt played one really good game last year. Detroit. He was not bad.
Yeah, but they were playing a lot of stuff
yeah.
the year before, and they weren't. So to
but
me,
you got to remember too, Matt Milano's got to stay healthy too for them, and Bernard.
Those are. I mean, yeah, and I think
And Greg Rousseau has got is good. I think he can play better. But the interesting guy to watch is that pick from Arkansas, the edge guy.
Yeah.
If he could push and play well in preseason, don't be surprised if that's Vanessa. It's not.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be surprised either. I wouldn't be surprised either. But to me, like they made a lot of investments in the defense.
Yeah, well, they had to.
They had to, and I think that was.
They need big boys up front. They couldn't stop guys up front.
And they couldn't generate the pass work. That's been the big, especially against Kansas City, where you need the pass work against Mahomes or Lamar Jackson. And
you could beat Kansas City in the regular season playoffs.
Exactly. That's the biggest thing. It's like if you don't win against in the playoffs, then it's going to mean nothing.
All right, I'm going to change with the Bills. How much confidence you got in Tyler Bass?
Very good. I have very good confidence. But what I was going to say, the wide receivers to me, like I didn't like them more Brett's cutting me off here.
Oh no. I'm just saying.
No, Tyler Bass is a ram. I don't know. He can make a 61-yarder to win a game with an extra point. I don't know. I'm not sold on it.
I think that's good. I think he needs to be consistent. I do agree with that. Like
they got a new punter this year.
Yeah.
And Holder too, because his Bass's Holder's gone too.
Yeah, Sam Martin's no longer with the team. So yeah, I think with the defense, like if they could be top 10 this year, I think it'd be great here. Sorry, what was your comment about
Do you see? Are you comfortable with Mitch Trubisky backing up Josh Allen, or is Mike White the guy?
Hold on here. We're gonna refresh. My apologies.
Show's gonna be over soon, right?
It's who knows. No one in the rating room saying. So you cut. Hold on 1 second. Jimmy's been booted from the show.
Oh no.
No, not really. I don't know.
Me.
Your camera's still on, but I think the camera turned off. I don't know.
Let me work on this here.
I mean, we're gonna wrap. I'm gonna wrap this up by asking quickly. 3 straight for the Bandits.
Wow.
3 straight. I mean.
Let's go 4.
Okay, we're back.
Do you think Vince has retired or is going to retire? Or is he going Matt Vince? Do you know?
No, I think 3 straight is an incredible compliment. I mean 6 in a row, but 3 straight championships. I mean for Vince. I mean let's make it 4. If that ain't enough pressure, Mike.
I heard the Rochester Nighthawks are for sale.
Another little thing here. Whoops. Sorry, fellas. Yeah, we're gonna wrap this up here. Well,
let's not wait. Let's have a preseason build.
Yes, we.
Yes. That's fine.
All right, we're wrapping up.
We're wrapping up. Thank you so much. We are ending this episode. Thank you so much, and have a great night. Sorry to cut this short, but thank you for joining us on for the show, and we hope to see you soon.
All right, boys. Thank you.
All right, Mike. Sorry.
Keep in touch.